In this episode, you'll learn the keys to using your struggle and pain to add fuel to the strength of your fire. Welcome to Energy Alignment for Entrepreneurs, the podcast helping online service based entrepreneurs reduce stress, balance emotions, and grow a profitable business in less time. I'm your host, Justin Igliscus. Let's get into it. In today's episode, you'll discover why going through the fire can be a cleansing season, when to reflect upon struggle, and how to struggle less in your life. The tactic to getting more done with less struggle, anxiety, and stress. So, the cleansing essence of the fire, right? When you boil water, let's say you were out in nature and you needed clean water, right? One of the methods to cleaning that water from the river, getting rid of any bacteria, is going to be adding fire, right? Turning up the heat so that that water boils and purifies itself. Now, when we look at the title of today's video, the struggle is worth the effort. This, first of all, you know in your heart when you hear this, it's true that if you were handed all of the things which you so deeply desired, the appreciation wouldn't be there. Yeah, for a day, for a week, for a month, depending on where you're at in your life, you will get that sense of happiness. But as any of you before, no matter how small the goal achieved is, you know that when you have achieved something that you have wanted or desired, and you get that thing, you feel great, but then it fades, right? So we're looking at that the struggle is worth the effort and the fire cleansing you makes the end destination worth it. Now, you know in the big picture, you never just arrive somewhere and your life's perfect. You're not going to get the girl, the money, the career, and then your life's perfect. You may get the girl, the money, the career, but then you'll see, oh, there's more beneath the surface. And I'm a huge advocate for getting your desires. Why? Because it's going to allow you to burn off the things which are not pure faster. As when you're no longer stuck saying, oh, I wish I had this, but you have it, then you have that more likelihood, a higher chance of being honest with yourself in sitting in your leisure time and saying, you know, sure, I got this thing. And now I may want another version of that thing, bigger, shinier, a different color. But you can see in that leisure time that the structure is exactly the same. And if you're intelligent enough, you'll be able to see that you don't need the different color, the shinier version, etc. Because the structure is the same. Now, I don't want to go too far off because all humans are the same yet different. We all have our individual paths. And the path to your truth, although the structure of universal intelligence, wisdom, and truth, it's the same. The individual path to seeing that for yourself is not the same. I couldn't diagram it, or someone who has done the work could never diagram it or give you a blueprint. But the structure is that just as nature has seasons, humans will have seasons too. And if you're in that fiery purification season where you feel you're in the stove cooking in hell, that's not something to resist. Let that pain, that fire, that burn, let that strengthen to the point where you have to pay attention to the things which bring you down, for lack of a better word. You see, because the fiery season, we may want to label it bad. And oh, maybe if you were just good enough, you could avoid it. No, no. Because, right, you've heard that quote of ignorance is bliss. The ignorance is before you get into the fire. You're not even strong enough to get into the fire when you're ignorant. And that's where that false bliss comes from. Don't, we cannot confuse artificial bliss with living in alignment with the truth. Okay. But if someone's in that false bliss stage, they're going to be ignorant and not even have stepped into the fire yet. So it's not our job to throw them fire. It's not our job to try to force change. This is a trap that a lot of people fall into, myself included, is when we feel that we're learning, like really learning, and something inside of us is changing, and you can feel like, I'm just not really drawn to certain things anymore. Like, I'm not judging my old friends or anyone who's drawn to those things or who's in that season because you have to go through the seasons. But what a lot of people want to do is try to bring others up with them, and it doesn't work like that. You have to have the patience, the wisdom to see the pain that you bring to yourself by trying too hard to help others. So that's more so why I'm here speaking in this format, doing all the work to reach the people who are ready to do the work. It's a bit different from going around to all the people in my direct physical life and just ranting to them like this, right? But if you resonate, you resonate. And that's cool. That's cool. So, when to reflect upon struggle, how to struggle less in your life. A lot of this bridges upon everything I've just said. Like being patient, being aware, being honest to see that, you know what? I may be in a certain stage, cycle, or spiral or season. And, well, I can't rush out of it. I can't wish that I wasn't where I am. So, how can I be attentive in a way that I'm going to enjoy my day to day moments more, right? A question of that nature where we realize, okay, there are things I can't change. So I'm going to stop wishing, wanting to change them. I'm going to stop supporting any voice of self pity, of um, running from responsibility. Because God has put you here in the circumstance with the parents, the situations, the people, the career. Like God's put you where you are right now. And only when you're ready and honest are you going to start to travel inward to make sense of the cards that you've been dealt. Because this is part of letting your karma unfold and getting more in tune with the nature of the unseen, the universal laws that are 100% there, but maybe 90% of humanity is totally oblivious to them. So I'm speaking to you guys, right? The people who have felt this in some way, some form since you've been young, but it takes patience and work to learn how to let the river flow through you. Because honestly, I don't know what I'm saying. I never plan what I'm saying. Sure, I have a structure, right? If you look at my YouTube, my podcast, sure, I have titles which follow a structure of demand based content validated by Google and monthly search volume. Sure, we have to cover our practical things, right? Dot our I's, cross our T's, be organized, learn how to dance. But at the same time, I never know what I'm going to say next. And that's because the flow of the river is what I'm letting move through me. And therefore this like none of this gives me any credit. Like and that's the best part about what I'm talking about is your life gets better when you do the work to stop wanting it to get better. You get what you want when you stop wanting it and you live in line with what you need to be. So, re-listen to that because you could literally re-listen to a few of those quotes, those lines, and write about them. Like, what does he mean when he says that? The tactic to get more done with less struggle, anxiety, and stress. And this is the tactic of balance. So, you hear me talk about breaks often, but I'm just going to say that, right? If you want to get more done and struggle less, feel less anxiety and stress, you need to be balanced. So that means, right? You go to bed at a good time. You eat healthy food. You take breaks, and then you do work. Now, I'm speaking to you from an entrepreneurial perspective, right? Where you're home or you have the freedom to schedule your breaks. Like you're your own boss. Even if you're not your own boss, I'll give you two sections here. If you're not your own boss, be as prepared as possible. When you're not at work, exercise, stretch, get fresh air, less phone, less screen, more writing, more simple action. Actions that don't involve technology. Then, okay, if you're entrepreneurial, if you're working on the computer often, well, you need breaks, right? So to get more done, struggle less stress, less anxiety, use a weekly planner, like 3 hours of key task, 3 short tasks, 3 maintenance tasks. Do that every day. Go outside, go for walks, right? Casual, patient, nature walks, no stimulation. Then have your intense exercise. Do a sport, MMA, jujitsu, or just lift hard. Or both. This is all up to you. I can't tell you what to do, especially when we're talking about practical actions. But the tactic, I'm really laying out the structure for you, how to create a balanced life. Because if your life is balanced, it is absolutely inevitable that you start to tune in to the truth. Now, I can't tell you when it'll happen. I can't tell you how it'll happen. That's not my job. But if you can trust in the thing which is much grander than you, people label it God, the universe, you cannot be of a certain religion. You have to see that you are one with all of religion. So, recap why going through the fire can be a cleansing season. If you resist the heat, then the temp just gets turned up. I'll say it one more time. If you resist the heat, the temperature gets turned up. But if you feel it, the dark gets burned. When to reflect upon struggle and how to struggle less in your life. The moment of the pain is the truth. Now, what needs to be done to feel it in the moment it occurs? The tactic to get more done with less struggle, anxiety, and stress. And this is the holistic strategy, right? I'll read a few things. Exercise, breaks, organization, reflective writing, solitude, nature, and sport. That's pretty much what I said, right? So you'll have to struggle and get some wants to learn the life you need isn't about what you want. So, that's a beautiful quote. I'll let that sit with you. I appreciate you so much. New episodes are out every Monday and Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. If you do want to learn more, just click the link in the description below. First, you'll get your free psychological prompts, journaling prompts. And number two, you'll get access to my new 11-page doc, How to Reduce Stress and Anxiety. Bonus, 2 to 4 new weekly emails. Grab the free gift below. Enjoy yourself.